So joining us now live, John Booty, sports analyst and former NFL player. John, thank you for your patience while I got through all of that, and thank you for joining us this afternoon on the Live Zone.
Well, thank you for having me on the show.
All right. Well, we do want to start with Jayden Daniels. You heard me just mention Coach Quinn said he had a rehab session today. He will not practice. Talk to us a little bit about what's happening behind the scenes as they evaluate this knee sprain.
Well, behind the scenes, they're making sure they're doing everything smart. They want to make sure that he's mobile, make sure that he's strong, that he's agile, and that his body mechanics is working up to par without anybody coming after him, put him through a rigorous test as far as practices going on. So they want to be smart. They want to gauge him. They want to see what he's doing, how he's mobile, how he's moving around. We all know that he's smart and he has a strong arm, but they want to take their time and get more rest on it and not a lot of stress on it, and so that he can heal properly.
Let me ask you a question. He is clearly invaluable to this team, both from what he brings as his offensive weapons, whether it's his arm or whether it's his legs, also his position as a leader on this team. Should he play even if he is cleared?
You know, he should, because he is going to give the Commanders the best opportunity to win football games. That's why he's here, and protection is key. He's going to get stronger as the game goes on. He's going to play smart, but that is a morale boost to have their leader out on the field. They're seeing that he's playing and he's going to be smart the way he's going to play. That's going to boost the morale of the rest of the team.
On that note, though, and that kind of leads me into my next question, the decision-making process on when a player should power through and when they should rest. Does Jayden Daniels have any say in whether he's out on that field, or is the team going to decide, look, you're too valuable, we want to give you more time?
It's a team effort. Now, they got to look at the player. They're going to look at Jayden in his eyes and say, man, are you ready? Do you think you can do this? So it's going to be a collective team effort on the decision to have him play in Sunday's game. Now, again, he went through his reps this morning without anybody. He's going to take some time off, not practice today, but he's going to progress. By Friday, they're going to know if he's a full go. And still, that's going to be up to him and the training staff, the doctors, and the head coach. They may look at it and say, listen, we want to hold you back for another week. But it's going to be a collective effort.
Well, let me ask you this. From what we saw on Thursday night, we saw him come up limping a little late in the fourth quarter, but kind of ahead of that in the first three, we didn't get the same kind of dynamic Jayden Daniels we have seen in previous games. Some of that could be attributed to the fact that Green Bay is a good team. Let's just call it what it is. They also have Micah Parsons, and they have a lot of great defensive weapons. Jordan Love obviously doing very well as well. Also, obviously, all of the teams that the Commanders play have had a whole season of tape now to look at. Right. All of that being said, do you think Jayden needs to change his approach to the game? Does he need to play a little more cautious? We have seen him be willing to take some hits.
Now, one thing about playing professional football at any sport, when you start playing cautious and slowing down a little bit, that's when you really get hurt. You know what I mean? But he got to play smart, but he can play full speed, you know. And so again, with the Green Bay Packers adding Parsons, hey, he got another guy coming at him this week in Crosby. They're going to be testing him to see how capable he is as leading his team on offense. But again, when you start playing cautious, that's when the injuries come about. You know, he's going to play smart. You can play smart by playing full speed, and I think he'll be able to do that if they decide to have him play this week. And he's a smart player. So mentally, he's into it. He knows the game plan. He knows what he got to do. Again, it's a team effort. You got to have some protection for him. You got to have those guys up front protecting him. And when he does break the pocket, if he decides to break the pocket, he got to use his mindset to make the best decision while he's running the football down the field.
Yeah, I think the last thing a lot of Commanders want is any sort of history repeating itself. We saw what happened to RG3 a few seasons ago when he had that devastating knee injury, and really his career never came back the way the dynamic player that we saw before that.
Yeah. I believe that they're going to be smart about it. You know, we know this is an AFC team they're playing, and that they are going to make the best decision because they're going to be looking down the road. All these decisions are going to be made, the longevity of him and the long haul on this season, you see. And so they may come to a conclusion on Friday and say, listen, we're going to pull you back, but we understand that you are the key to our success this year, and what we need you healthy.
All right, well, I just want to take a quick minute here to say that it's 1 o'clock. If you are just joining us here on the Fox 5 Live Zone, we are talking to John Booty all about Jayden Daniels. We just learned minutes ago that he will not practice today. He did have a rehab session, and we will hopefully find out more on Friday about his status for this weekend's game. So looking ahead to this weekend's game, the Raiders obviously played Monday night. They got a short week ahead of them. They have to fly across the field. They got to deal with the time change. So no matter who's starting under center on Sunday, what do you kind of expect from the Commanders and the Raiders?
Well, no matter who's starting, they're going to have a complete football game because it's still early in the season. The Raiders got to travel across the country. That's what they get paid for to do, to play football games. I think they're going to have an opportunity to get some rest. There's more of a mental aspect of it now. They do know that they keep an eye on Daniels as well. So, but they know on defense they're going to have their ears pinned back to go out and come after whomever is at quarterback. Defense playing well. They 1-1. They think that they can have improved. Pete Carroll he's a marksman and getting guys ready. I played for Pete back in 1990 when he was a defense coordinator with the Jets. So he's going to have the Raiders ready to play some football on Sunday.
Let's stick with the Raiders here for a second and talk about Tom Brady. I'm sure you have heard the flack that he got after being in the coach's booth on Monday. The Fox Sports broadcaster, part owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, was spotted in the team's coaching booth. He was wearing a headset, sparked some outrage online. The NFL says he did not break any rules. He can sit in the booth, but he is barred from practices or on-site meetings. Grant Paulson from 106.7 The Fan FM, he was not a fan of this. He called it a conflict of interest. Tom just called the Commanders' first game of the season. He had the access to the team, and now the team that he's a minority owner of is facing the Commanders this weekend. So theoretically, what could stop him from taking what he knows about the team and going and sitting in the coaching booth? How do you feel about this?
Well, I agree. You know, I think it's a bit of a conflict of interest because, you know, he's in the broadcast booth. He's a minority owner of the Raiders, and he's been seen in the broadcast booth with the headsets on, giving some advice to somebody, right? So he's going to be able to deliver some input about the Commanders when he did their game, and so I don't know. Just the NFL says nothing wrong with it, but again, you know, I guess it's good to be Tom Brady, huh? So you can do all that stuff, but again, for the players and for the owner, other teams, that shouldn't be. I agree. That shouldn't be. I mean, it's a conflict of interest.
Yeah, it's one of those sort of instances, I think, for a lot of fans where there's smoke, there's fire. Tom Brady, of course, a member of our Fox family, calling games for Fox Sports as well. Before I move on to talk a little bit more about what else is going on in the NFC East, I did want to get a quick score prediction from you for Sunday's game.
Well, you know, I predicted the Commanders go to Green Bay and pull an upset, but my prediction was not right. But I want to give them the home field advantage. You know, there is an opportunity for them to make some plays, even with Mariota back there because he's a veteran. He knows the system. Yes, the Commanders are kind of banged up, but I'm going to give them that home field advantage, maybe be 21-20, something like that.
All right. Well, what I heard from you, John Booty, is that Commanders fans, all those burgundy and gold faithful out there, need to pack Northwest Stadium and be on their feet cheering for their team this Sunday. Of course, you can catch that game right here on Fox 5. We'll talk about that in a second. But in the meantime, let's move on to the NFC East. This past weekend, we got that Super Bowl rematch, the Eagles and the Chiefs. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes, for the first time in his NFL career, has now dropped 3 games. The Eagles, obviously, right now, sitting pretty atop the NFC East. What did you make of that game?
Well, what I make of that game, that, you know, is always good to beat Patrick Mahomes. You know, he's 0-2, you know, but that team is a well-coached team. They had opportunities. the Chiefs did to beat the Eagles, but the Eagles make the plays when they had to. They make the stops when they had to, on offense or on defense. Offensively, the Eagles are going to have to do better. I think they're going to have to make some plays down the stretch. Again, this is early in the season, so everybody's not making use this for an excuse. They got to get that thing together. Now, with Kelsey, you made those catches in the past. That's on you. I mean, he put the ball away from Blankenship. You got to make that catch. You can't catch with your forearms. You got to use your hands on that. A lucky break for the fortunate break for the Eagles for the rookie to get his first interception of the year and be a great player for that team. Now they're going to bounce back, Kansas City Chiefs. They still a team to beat in the AFC because they did play the Eagles in the Super Bowl, and the Eagles they're a team to beat because they are the reigning champs right now. So it's going to be a task for both of those teams, but they got to get it better every year and keep building that chemistry up. That's what they're going to have to do.
A lot of football left to play, obviously. Meanwhile, sitting at the bottom of the NFC East currently, we've got the Cowboys and the Giants. However, that game that we saw at 1 o'clock on Sunday was kind of epic. Came down to the final seconds, a last-second field goal, I should say, by Brandon Aubrey. Of course, Russell Wilson looking like the old Russell Wilson, especially when it came to the long ball. What do you make of these two teams? Is this division still wide open?
Well, I think the division for the NFC East is still the Eagles team going to win this, but they put up a lot of points against each other. Russell Wilson looked good in that deep ball, exposed the Cowboys secondary, right? And it's great to have a great kicker who can kick long field goals, right? And also for Dak and his receivers to make the plays when they had to make the plays. I guess you could say the Giants didn't do their job on defense by giving up some plays where they knew that the Cowboys need to make some plays to get in position to go in overtime. So I still see the Eagles are top. Commanders are right there behind them. Those two, they put a lot of points against each other, and other teams in the NFC East are seeing that. So they're saying we can, even though the Cowboys did fairly well against the Eagles at first game, I think they're going to say, hey, listen, we still can put a team together to beat the Cowboys and the Giants, Commanders and the Eagles are saying.
John, I don't want to rush ahead, but I honestly cannot wait until December when that new season of Hard Knocks mid-season debuts that covers all those NFC teams, because I'm sure they have to. Theoretically, they have to be filming right now, I would imagine. So we're going to get a lot of behind-the-scenes drama, I'm sure.
Yeah, I spoke with some folks at the NFL Films about it, and they said they're gonna start. I don't know when they're starting, but I think they are. I don't know who's all out there at the complexes and doing some filming, but it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to roll out for the NFC East, getting this exposure on Hard Knocks and how they prepared for that towards the end of the season to make the run for the playoffs.
All right, before we let you go, John, I just want to ask real quick, what besides the Commanders would be your must-watch game of the week?
Oh, the must-watch game of the week? I think the Eagles are playing the Rams, and the Rams went to Philadelphia last year and lost in the playoffs in that snow game. So the Rams going to go into Philly, and they're going to want to prove that they're better than what they demonstrated last January. Yeah. So I think it's the must-see watch game.
And Justin Herbert has looked good in the last two games, putting up over 500 yards in the air. John Booty, thank you so much for joining us and weighing in. Hey, before I let you go, real quick, we've been talking about the RFK Stadium deal, these last-minute changes that the D.C. Council has apparently proposed, the letter that the Commanders sent. Just give me your thoughts on what's happening today.
Today is crucial because, you thought, and I watched it, and they had it all together, but no one wants those surprises, Hopefully that they're in talks right now to iron this all out so they can get this approved. It's good that the Commanders are sticking to their core negotiation program, and since this came out, I'm quite sure they're just the powers that be in those rooms right now are really negotiating, saying, "Listen, uh, we all gonna look bad if this thing don't work out, and we need this to happen."
All right. John Booty, sports analyst and former NFL player, thank you so much for spending a little time with us today on the Live Zone.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Well,